Dr. Sue Johnson, who is the originator of emotionally focused therapy, would watch these tapes of people doing these incredible moves that changed their lives, basically. And Sue and her team were constantly asking that question, what is the difference? What is happening here? So what they saw was that when people would get stuck in certain interactions, the most common one, United States and North America, is when one person begins to feel somehow disconnected. They aren't sure of the other person, so they can't find a way to talk to them. So what they do, they start pushing for connection. And if they don't get a response, they now become more urgent and more aggressive with that pushing. If you don't understand that urgency, people say, this person is so irritated, they're bugging me all the time. Or you could say to yourself, I'm so irritated, like I'm angry all the time. That was me, I'm a pursuer by nature. And I became, when the other person would not respond to me, everything became urgent. But if you do understand the urgency, what we understand behind that urgency is desperation. You hear people say, like, why don't you respond to me? You never talk to me. So when they start to be that aggressively pursuing, they start to push the other person away. And then the other person obviously feels criticized or put down, which is very, very painful for us, especially with people we depend on. It's literally painful for us when we hear criticism. So most people get stuck in some version of pursuing. Where are you? This is what I hear. Where are you? Where are you? I can't find you. And withdrawing. You're telling me I'm disappointed. You're telling me I can't meet your expectation. I'm not going to talk to you. I'm going to shut down and get away. So this is the pattern. And so many people are caught in that same pattern. And we call that pattern pursue withdraw cycle. So one person pursues and the other person withdraws. For pursuers, they come across, like I said, as criticizing, irritated, but it's actually a protest to the disconnection. It's saying, where are you? Where are you? I can't find you. I'm getting stuck. I'm getting scared that I'm all alone here. But as adults, it's not very easy for us to see that vulnerability. So what we see is anger and criticism. So Sue and her team looked at all these sessions, and they looked at the also attachment research between the mother and the child, and it was exactly the same thing. So a mother who is taught about her child's vulnerability and taught to see her child's attachment cues and respond to those attachment cues now becomes more open. She's paying attention to the right things. She's actually seeing what's going on. She becomes more attuned to the child. She hears the signals from the child. She gets them. Whereas before, she wasn't a bad mom, but she was tuning into something else. She was sort of tuned out. And when they looked at adults' interactions and adults' relationships, they saw exactly the same thing that happens. Except the players were now 32 years old or 42 years old or 52 years old. And they just get stuck in this terrible cycle, which is the withdraw and pursue cycle. Imagine yourself that when people start to recognize the cycle, they start to understand that something about their triggers and about their fears and about the needs all are universal. In fact, everybody has the same needs and fears on this planet. And they start to understand their emotions, and they're able to name that vulnerability and be able to open and risk to reach out and share that vulnerability with somebody else. They start to become accessible, responsive, and engaged. A.R.E. That's the key attachment question in our relationship. Are you there for me? Can I rely on you that you will be there for me? Not physically, but emotionally. Can I feel that in moments of vulnerability, you will tune into my needs? You will tune into my emotional state. Instead of people saying, you never talk to me, you start to say, I feel so scared. I feel so scared that somehow I'm alone in this project. I feel like there's a distance in our relationship. I feel like you kind of maybe disappeared and gone off somewhere and I can't find you. I get scared and that as if I'm not important anymore. So I don't need you to be problem solving or fix everything. I need to know that I matter to you as a team member. That is a different message than why don't you talk to me? Why don't you call me? Obviously, the other person need to learn how to respond to that. Not every situation that the other person can be there. But with practice, as they were able to say, thank you for sharing. It makes sense that you would feel lonely. You are important, and I want you to know you're not alone. You are a valuable member of the team. Now, that's again a different response than saying, like, what are you talking about? What do you mean I haven't been there for you? What do you mean I have disappeared? I was able to do that. And once you learn the language and once you learn the steps, you become A.R.E. in your conversations. This is what happens in our work relationship. We want to be able to dance with our people that we work with. We want to be able to feel joyful. We want to be able, like singing, right? We feel joyful when we're singing. We feel joyful when we're dancing. And we want to be able to do that. So A.R.E. is really a way of being. It's a different way of being. It's being on that emotional channel. Daniel Goleman, who wrote the book Emotional Intelligence, he talks about when we can tune with each other, we are in the same emotional channel. When you have those A.R.E. conversations, you can resolve anything. It doesn't matter because you are no longer arguing about topics. You are talking about, you are important to me. I care about you. I care about your experience. I care about you, your feelings, your emotions. And I want to be there for you. And I feel the same way from you. I love that A.R.E. because people can work towards this and can really feel the difference when they become A.R.E.